Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun. Good morning, everybody. It is oh my gosh, it's the 24th, right? No, it's the 25th. I was wrong. It's the 25th of March. Overnight, Congress made an agreement with White House negotiators, Senate, Democrat, Republican leaders on a stimulus package, $2 trillion stimulus package. Today, we're going to talk about what you should be doing with that stimulus because you are going to get a check. Apparently, if you make under $75,000 as an individual, you get a $1,400 check. For couples under $1,300, a $2,400 check, and $500 per child. Yeah, that's a decent amount of money. Hold on here. So what should you do with that stimulus check? And that's what we're going to talk about today. But first, let me go into the markets. Talk about the next little few steps that we got here. All right. So yesterday was a huge day in markets. We really came up. I think that in the end that was like an 11% rise. Holy crap! Just crazy. But we are kind of just back to like where the volume has been. So it's a little. I need to fix the start because it's not really showing me what you'd like to see. Anyways, so that's the equities. By the way, you hear me okay, right? Sometimes when I'm like, I can tell the difference so much more with this microphone. Okay. Anyways, 10-year, still hovering where it was. There's this untouched point of control down at 136.04. I don't know if they'll go back down to get it, and the treasuries are not, but they seem pretty happy where they are. Okay. For the larger markets, I think that we could see some liquidity start to come back. I am seeing 500s put on the DOM in the 10-year, which is great. E-mini is starting to decrease in volatility a little bit. I can see overnight the ATR is 5, which is better. Better than it was. Now, your first question, I think, would be, is this a bottom in the markets? Probably not. But for some individual stocks, it could be. For some individual stocks, it could be a bottom. The larger market, probably not. So that's the first thing. And I would expect to see volatility going through to the election and through the election. I would not necessarily think that we're out of the woods until next year. Probably next spring, maybe then we'll be to the point where everybody can agree that we are on the road to recovery. We might not see new all-time highs until 2 or 3 years. Not even joking. This could be a long road to recovery. So I wouldn't be expecting a V or W-shaped bottom or whatever it is that they call them, this is going to be tough. This is going to be tough. All right. Now, next few steps. One is obviously people are going to get the checks. Okay. But the next thing that I think that the market's going to start turning to is New York. In New York, they are estimating that they are going to have 190,000 cases where they will require hospitalization. And they are like 140,000 short, which means that they will have to pick and choose, and people will die. You're probably going to see in the next 2 to 3 weeks, by my count at least, 10,000 people die in New York is a slow motion train wreck. I am in Brooklyn, New York. Are people talking pretty dire over there? I don't know. It's gonna be pretty crazy, and so I think that the markets are going to very much be looking at that. They need ventilators. I don't know how they're going to get them. New York kind of screwed up, had the opportunity to get ventilators and years ago and didn't do it. I'm sure there will be movement from the administration on that soon. But this is going to scare people. This is going to scare markets, especially because New York is close to home, right? So that's going to be very much on people's minds. All right. And then the next thing is that CDC, well, not CDC, I want to say virologists that I've been reading, all tend to agree that there will be another wave in the fall. That doesn't necessarily mean that it'll be worse or whatever the deal is, but they expect that the summer will reduce the spread, but then when things get cold again in the fall, there will be another wave of people that get it. So that's the next thing that we need to keep in mind, all right? Okay, so now, with your stimulus check, when we're watching this, I don't want to trade this market quite yet, so let's talk about what you should do with your stimulus check, okay? First of all, well, I'll read this comment right here.
池田弥生 SAYS It won't stimulate me. I am out of work.
Says it won't stimulate her, she's out of work. So if you get the stimulus check, 100% pay your bills, pay your debts, get an emergency fund. Make sure that that money gets you through to at least the election is my recommendation. If that's your situation. Unfortunately, that's not very stimulative, and it probably won't be beneficial to the economy. But that's what they're giving it to us for. That's why it's so important that Congress is giving individuals this money. You got to do what you got to do. All right. So pay your bills, pay your debts, have emergency funds. Right. That's your first thing. Okay. Now, if you are one of the lucky, and I'm sure there are many lucky people out there, what do you do with the extra money? Okay, well, buy assets. This is my recommendation. Now, have a plan. Come up now. Start doing your research because everybody is going to want that money. Every company out there, they're going to be putting out the deals. They're going to be doing everything they can to convince you that they are most deserving of this money. But let's just keep in mind, okay, I know some of this is our tax dollars coming back. For some of you, you may be getting back more than you gave the government, okay? But we are getting money back from the government. It is contingent upon us to do with that money better than what the government would have done, okay? So, buy assets. And that means, first of all, if you have a business idea that you want to do, that small business dream that you've always wanted to do, here's your chance. Take that money, start your business. If you start a business, that is going to return more to you than almost any other asset possibly could. So if you have that dream, go do it. Go do it, okay? If you have the opportunity to buy real estate, that would be a really good investment right there. Oh, Jerry.
Jerry is awake, says I would go to Disney, not they're closed.
No, they are closed now, right? Man. Yeah, buy assets. Buy assets. Real estate is going to be one of the assets that this time in the cycle, when the interest rates are low, is going to be great to buy real estate. And prices are going to be down a little bit too. So this would be a great time to get into some real estate. Okay. And if not, I would recommend buying individual stocks. Now, this is going to be a little bit controversial for some because this goes against the common accepted wisdom because they're going to say, put it in an equity index. Don't do it. Don't do it. Equity index investing is overbought. We just saw it crash, and we're in an environment where we're going to be on a long road to recovery. The equity indexes could go down, but some individual stocks will do well. If you pick individual stocks, this is an environment where you can beat the market. If you do your research, you're smart about it. Okay, doesn't mean that everybody will. Statistically, still, a lot of people won't. Most of those, big asset fund managers are going to have a hard time beating the market. But you, regular individual investor, nimble and quick, you have the ability to beat the market. I think you should try, and I think it's the right thing to do. Give the money to the companies that deserve it, that are good companies, and that have a bright future ahead of them. You will be rewarded. All right, and you can make double your money or 10 times your money in this kind of situation. You can use this money, man. $1,400, $2,400. Sorry, $1,200, $1,400. It's $1,200 for individuals, $2,400 for families. That is a lot of money, man. That could be worth $10,000 if you invest in the right companies. Okay, do it. That's what my recommendation
Jerry is awake says use it to make millions.
Okay. Now, don't just go be willy-nilly. I know one of the things that's going to be tempting is, oh, here's a stock and here's a stock, and people are going to give you tips, and your friend's going to say, hey, get into this or get into this. No. Okay. Top-down approach. Look at sectors. Determine which sectors, based on the interest rate cycle and other fundamentals, are going to be doing best in this environment. Determine which companies within that sector are the best of breed. Look at their balance sheets, look at their liabilities, look at their growth prospects, and determine what are the best companies to invest in. That's how you got to do it. Don't do tips. Okay. I've created a channel in Discord for portfolio management, so you can go and talk there. And my homework, what I'm going to be doing the next week, and I would recommend you do as well, is to identify the major market sectors. I think I have a list of 12, and identify what the best of breed company is for each sector. All right. So that's what I think you should do with your stimulus check. I'm not a certified investment advisor, so obviously you should consult with your professionals if you have them, but that's what I'm going to be doing. So now with all of that out of the way. Oh, Jerry says your trading's getting better.
Jerry is awake says my trading is getting better.
Even if you're trading at sim, this kind of environment can give you a lot of experience, right? Is you get to see a lot of moves. And I would add weird moves. It kind of teaches you anything can happen. You shouldn't be sitting and expecting something. Okay, so I continue to see them pump up into this long area and then not go very far. But I want that. It's pretty light in the micros today, isn't it? There we go. Good trade. Going to try and be a little bit more focused today. Hopefully. Not very many of us today. Google's really throttling us hard. That's okay, though. I need to stop talking about it. Like, I know I'm super triggered, but I need to just not talk about it. I'm sure eventually they'll fix it. Did I go the wrong way? Yeah, there we go. That's better. Said all that stuff, and now I'm just kind of like, okay. Now what do we talk about? No. Pull up the Twitter, make sure that we're not missing any news here. Oh, and it's Wednesday, so we had core durable goods. X defense was spot 1 versus an expected spot 9. That's good. Durable good orders. X transportation, negative spot 6 versus an expected spot 4. So bad. And durable good orders month over month, they were expecting a negative spot 8, and we got 1 spot 2. So a little bit mixed, but overall good. Live Squawk says New York Fed takes 10.9 billion of securities in overnight repo operation. That's actually not too bad. They're only doing 10 billion, but because they were doing like 50 billion earlier, before all this, so that's good. Chuck Schumer, we cannot have a situation when a company is getting money from the Treasury Federal Reserve that we don't know about it. Does that mean we, meaning Congress, or we, meaning the public? Because based on what I was reading about, this was a point that we were talking about on Futures IO. It's, in my opinion, it's generally not a good idea for a company to be seeking emergency funds and everybody know about it. That really hurts your stock price. Having the government as a shareholder is usually not a good thing. But should Congress have oversight over it? Sure, as long as they're not telling everybody and blabbing about it. By the way, how's the volume? Because when I talk, on my headphones, it's just not as loud as the old microphone was. But I don't know. As long as I'm not clipping or anything, I think we're okay. And thank you guys for the likes already. 3 likes. Thank you so much. It's going to be harder for the stream. I think that we'll still get to the 24 viewers that we got. But I can already see it's going to be a tough road for the stream. But that's okay because our focus is trading right now. Well, when did I take that trade? Or what prices did I take that trade? I took that at 12. Oh, so we did continue up a little bit. So I could have held that one, but I'm not necessarily seeing the bar structure to justify that. Interesting. I think I want to change this chart over here, by the way. I have a data series on it. I have a 60-minute. I'm using a box, and I could use a candlestick. Right? No. Multi-period candlestick. There we go. Gonna do the box. Gonna do no wick. Gonna do down bars are gonna be red. Up bars are gonna be blue. Opacity is gonna be really low, like 20. Apply that. Okay, cool. Oh, we need more than that. Probably need 40. Okay. Good deal. Oh, I have the. Oh, I don't have the outline style. Should probably fix that. Okay, good push there in the E-mini. Really good push. I'm going to if I can I'm going to take the 8 ticks so that it went further. But that's what I'm practicing today. That's what our focus is. I think it's so funny that many people don't trust Mnuchin, but I think that well, they got a bill. They got it done. I mean, Mnuchin gets all the credit, man. He done good, I have to say. 2418. Awfully fidgety here, isn't it? That chart was a little jacked up for some reason. Market movement appears to be getting a little... Did you hear that? The plosive. Don't like it. Market action appears to be getting a little bit more random. There's that. Yeah, I think later today in the stream I need to make it so that you can change the outlines. Okay, so short coming through there. Can't take that one. Mm-mm-mm. Oh, multiple people quoted me here.
Gary Rich says, I mean, you really don't buy this rally.
Right. Well, I think after an 11% up day, I personally don't necessarily have the guts to short the market per se. Like, I know one of our guys in chat said that they bought puts at the close. I don't know if that trade makes sense to me, but at the very least, there should be some consolidation, right? But look, they're buying it for now. There's a little bit of games going on though. Somebody definitely came in short, and they just blew them out there.
Gary Rich says this is the perfect setup for a suckers rally.
Well, I think what you're going to see, and I was discussing this a little bit earlier, Gary, but I think that what you're going to see is a stock picker versus market, right? So for the index, is this like the low for the index? Almost certainly not. If yesterday, March 24th, 2020, ends up being the bottom of this bear market.
Jerry is awake says nice drop overnight.
If yesterday ends up being the bottom of this bear market, then you can turn around and you can say you were wrong, Seth. Do it. But I'm very, very much doubt that will be the low. I think that for some companies it will be though. So yeah, when I wouldn't call it a suckers rally, but you're gonna see rebalancing. So there will be some days that are rallies, and pay attention to which stocks are going up in that environment. We're going to have to pay much more attention to stocks than we have, because the index is no longer going to tell the full story. See, there's some pretty decent swings coming in here now. Treasuries, they've kind of been trading in a range between 04 and 06, but they're pressing the bottom side of it again. Remains to be seen if they have enough to push it down. They sure are selling it, though. So I do think that we could see it. And I'm not seeing the things that I would normally expect to see down at the bottom either, to say that they'd overextended and might reverse or something like that, you know? Yeah, look at that. When I'm looking at my Vista chart here, it's like, okay, so the market's not moving nearly as much as it was. Today it's moving even less than it did yesterday. So much so that my Vista chart
Gary
actually
Rich
matches
says
up.
I don't disagree. 10 years 1.41%, oil at 40, currencies higher, gold lower, than I get bullish or buy it fully. The 10 years is the tipping point.
So if the 10-year falls out here and goes down, then what do you think that means? You think that means that you could have a more extended rally? Is that what you're trying to say? Oh, you're really itches for some reason. Pass. Somebody in chat, I said, "Are you guys ready for today?" And I said, "Ready," and Haskell said, "Not ready." This trade in the 10-year right now is always a tough call for me. I'll see the reversal or I'll see it about to break, and it seems that I don't really have the ability to predict what it's going to do in that situation.
Gary Rich says if the 10 years is a 1.45%, it's a relative move. It means that conditions have changed and the 10 years proceeds to climb up to 1.75%.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that I can tell you from the chart is that they really don't seem to be able to maintain the really ultra low interest rates that we had. Like when the 10-year was under spot 5, they're saying that's not sustainable. I kind of wonder that watching the 10-year in this situation, when over the next year, is going to be really interesting, because after the last crisis, we knew, like, hey, interest rates are low and they're going to be low for a very, very long time. In this situation, I'm not so sure. I mean, like, they're giving people like straight up money at some point, will that result in inflation? Or is the deflationary global environment that we have going to continue, and they're just going to keep things really, really low for years and years and years? And I really can't tell. I do kind of worry at some point of there being some inflation and the the Federal Reserve having to clamp down on it a little bit by raising things a quarter of a point or two, and how the markets would react to that, you know? Mm, mm. Here in the E-mini, they are trading in a way that makes this bad location for me. I got a good trade off of the long, but now it's probably time for me to sit on my hands for another 10, 20 minutes. I think I need to go and get a I don't have my Kleenexes in here. I need to go get a Kleenex, so I'll be right back. Silly dog. I got these two dogs, and the girl dog really likes to get excited about going outside, barks a lot, gets all wound up, and she thought I was going to let her out. I'm like, nope. And she shut right up.
Gary
She's
Rich
like,
says
oops,
presently
nope, I'm
stimulus
sorry.
looks inflationary, but the Fed Treasury can sterilize the issued paper. Just like the Japanese have been doing for decades.
How do they sterilize the issued paper? I mean, here's the thing. You give everybody a stimulus check. That's a lot of money going around in the economy. And when you're giving it to everyday people, that's when you really start to get inflation. I think one of the things that I've kind of been looking at that I think many people get wrong is when you give Wall Street money and they go and they put it into assets, you can get inflation in individual assets, but the numbers that we look at for inflation never go up because it's not getting to regular people, and right, it just goes into gold or whatever the hot commodity is at the time. That's what happened during QE 1 and 2. Now you're giving people straight up checks, but probably the majority of people are going to be using those to pay bills and um, protect themselves from job uncertainty. So I don't think that in this particular instance that you're going to get inflation, but you start to look down the road and you start to say, well, okay, there's possibilities, right? There's possibilities. I do see more buyers than sellers right now, but they don't seem to be making a whole lot of progress out of this area. They're going to make an attempt to bust the top of it. Let's see what they do. Okay, so they hit right up against the resistance. See, they might hold some support here and try again. Cool.
Gary Rich says the Fed Treasury can play this game for a long time. We don't have to rely on foreigners to buy all the paper issued. Japan does this really, really well.
Well, yeah, but I mean, growth in Japan has been low for a very, very long time too, though. See that, and that's the thing that really concerns me is that we're gonna print all of this money and we're gonna use it just to get by, and we don't actually use it to grow the economy. And so in the end, we get stuck with a low growth rate, and then eventually the money required to service the debt is just too much. And then you have a real crisis, a real crisis. Hmm. Need to see more Twitter here. Prince Charles has coronavirus. Oh my gosh, he's for real. Oh, Prince Charles. Yeah. I don't know. Is he well liked in Britain? If the Queen caught coronavirus, it would be like, or if Philip got the coronavirus. Trading technologies learn how to count the number of transactions that occur at the inside market by configuring an algo with the sequence message info extractor value accumulator and branch blocks.
Gary Rich says as reserve currency, everything is priced in dollars. Foreigners have to buy dollars for oil. They don't have to hold our treasuries in the amounts before. US Corp hold more now than some countries.
Well, yeah. I mean, if the question is, are we going to have a hard time finding buyers for the treasuries, then the answer is absolutely not. I mean, even from foreigners, just the demand from Japan alone seems sufficient right now. And I'm sure at some point China's probably going to have to buy some more, even though they've very much been trying to divest themselves of it. Hey, look, there's some upside there finally. Bravo, Bulls. Not a trade I could necessarily take, but well, I guess I could have tried to take it back at 24.16, back at the beginning of the 5 minutes ago, but actually that one wouldn't have been too bad. No, it touched it a bunch of times, but then when it switched, so right here, maybe you could have taken it, or maybe we could have taken it when it bounced back off of it again. New York Times editorial board calls for national lockdown over coronavirus. You know what? So this is something that really bothers me, is I keep seeing the left. I want to say the left. I mean, I'm trying to not be accusatory or anything like that. But it seems to me like people on the left want the federal government to do something just because they feel like that the federal government should do something. And especially when it comes to things like lockdowns, I think that the governors have a much better handle on these sorts of things and that you should leave the lockdowns to the governors. I think what the administration did was really smart. I think they said, well, we have a goal, and then they let the local governments handle it how they will. I saw this similar story yesterday when talking about they need ventilators in New York, and one of the issues is that Donald Trump hasn't completely used the National
Gary
Protection
Rich
Act.
says I'm not saying countries want hold treasuries, they want hold as much as before. We don't need them to buy it
Mm,
all, just enough to maintain collateral against their dollar-denominated debt to service.
right. Mm, anyways, so they want it, Trump hasn't completely used the what is it, the National Production Act or whatever to make more ventilators, and I'm not quite sure why that hasn't happened yet. I'm sure that there's a lot more to that than I know. Um, but then on the split side, the government has some ventilators, and New York basically wants all of them. And it's like, yeah, you think that you're the only ones that are going to need ventilators? I don't know. I'm like maybe in the next week, but I'm pretty sure that there's going to be within the next week there's going to be a number of municipalities that are going to be to the limit, and you can't give them all to New York. But I feel like that they just want the government to do something. Like, why would you put that much trust in them? Whatever. Whatever. US SEC will extend conditional regulatory relief for disclosure requirements for the public companies affected by coronavirus, RTRS. Conditional regular. So that means that companies don't necessarily have to tell people how bad things are, huh? I'm just telling you, because this was coming up on Futures IO. Um, they are not going to tell you how bad things are. They don't want you to know, and you're probably better off not knowing. I gotta do it like this. See, that's just the way it is. Eamon Jevers.
Gary Rich says a lot of private companies are retooling and helping make ventilators. It's
Oh
really
yeah.
cool.
I mean, I think everybody's making a really good effort. I'm like when we look at a disaster response, there's always going to be something to complain about. But I think that Americans have a lot of things that they can point to and as successes. Okay, there's one thing that we didn't do, which was that we just don't have production for tests. That comes down to that you need certain chemicals for the tests, and the US just doesn't have enough of those. In addition to that, we had laws that limited who could actually run them, even though there was plenty of labs that have the ability, and we had to like get them accredited and stuff like that. Okay, there's a big stack there at O3 half.
Patrick Desing says I work in the automotive industry and OEMs and most suppliers are shut down. Those that are not are producing respirator parts.
Well, there you go. Do you think that the auto industry is going to be hit really bad, like compared to the 2008 crisis? Or are they going to get hit as bad? And do you think that they'll be as good of a buy in the aftermath as they were in 2008? This is one of the things I've been wondering. So I would like to get consumer discretionary. I'm thinking maybe Tesla, but I don't know. Tesla's kind of a little over crazy anyways, so maybe that's not such a good idea. But I'm not even sure if the auto industry it's going to be the same thing this time. Let me rephrase. I'm not so sure that people are going to travel as much with their car as they did before. Yeah. If the housing market was like the bond market right now, you could sell your house to the Federal Reserve at whatever price you felt it was worth. Not really? Is that really how it works? Oh, so what was Eamon Javers
Patrick
saying?
Desing says I don't think it'll be as bad. OEMs use a lot of contract workers. They have been all let off already. I think people will stop buying new cars for the meantime though.
There you go.
Gary Rich says, Seth, are you gonna buy a Tesla or the stock?
I'm thinking the stock, if it was the right price, of course. I don't know if that makes sense though. There might be much better companies to go for on the consumer discretionary side. Like maybe, I mean, we should make a list. Best Buy might be one that I think it should be looked at because there's going to be a lot of people needing home office stuff. Mm, I can't think of it. Human Jabber says that they have new details about specific provisions in the $2 trillion pandemic bill that have not yet been released to the public. That's going to be on CNBC. Said that 6 minutes ago. That's what I was going to read earlier, but I got distracted. ES is up 2.27% so far. Hmm. I think this is because of oil. So I've been noticing that if oil is up, that the Dow ends up being up more than the Nasdaq, and that's what we're seeing right now. Right? The Dow. Sorry, bring it over here so I can see better. The Nasdaq is up 2.71%, and the Dow is up 3.64, and oil is up 3.74. So it seems like there are more industrials in the Dow, and hence. Okay, there was some heavy absorption up there at the top. I don't think that a short would have made sense up there, but if it comes back, I might. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says it is unknown if stimulus deal is enough to offset the economic damage of coronavirus. That's probably not, but it's what we got for now. Mm-mm.
Gary Rich says, well, I'm sure you know my feelings on TSLA stock. I
Right.
wouldn't put my worst enemy's money in that thing.
Well, that's where. So I think that if I was going to be doing Tesla, I wouldn't necessarily be like, oh, I think that this is the greatest company, really going to do well in the next little while, and all that sort of a thing. No, 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 probably not. But it it is a popular child. Is there likely to be another pop in it at some point? I think so. But that's where the price would have to be right. And I would really want to see it get pummeled first. Because when it was getting pummeled before, I said, well, maybe it's a buy. I don't know if it could go lower or not. I wasn't really paying attention to those sorts of things, but I would hope that if I was really watching it, that I would have said, hey, here is an okay place to get it. That's why I need to get my watch list. I need to get my watch lists together today or tomorrow. Start doing my best of breed each sector. So I'm thinking, I should probably start with technology because that's the one that I'm best at, or that I know the most about. I'm really interested in Microsoft. I think that there could be some real opportunities for Microsoft in the new environment that might be underestimated by the market because they've got, some pretty big investments into cloud computing that I think are going to start paying off. Okay. So they're up higher again. Like they're blue again. Keep a close eye on this here. Okay. Well, they push hard, but it's awfully slow. There's a little bit of absorption there at 24.29. No, very speculative. Nothing moving much yet. Okay. Too early. May wait if they come back down again. There is some significant absorption up here. I do think that they're going to turn.
Gary Rich says I feel oil and gas is the way. We don't get these opportunities like this, it's only every 10 years or so. Wind, solar, electric will have a place by small, not everything.
Or you think that oil and gas will be like your best stocks to be buying? Yeah, well, energy is definitely on the list too, right? See, they're pushing through some significant absorption. I think that they're probably going to get through it, but then you're going to see a little bit of like a stop run. And then maybe we could reverse. That last one was a little off plan. I probably shouldn't have. If I had caught it at 29, then maybe I could have gotten away with that, but I didn't. See, I think your best sectors that I've identified so far, I think real estate will be good, but you might not necessarily want to play that one with stock. Real estate, technology, energy. You could maybe do medical, but that one's maybe a little too obvious.
Gary Rich says yes for long-term DV paying and wait for price appreciation. If interest rates will be 1 to 3% for decades, which they will. Why
You
not
you
oil and
think
gas?
you don't think that they're going to be right? How long do you think it will be until the Federal Reserve raises interest rates at all? Because I'm thinking probably not until late 2021 at the earliest, and depending on how things go, it could be even further than that.
Sebastian Marquez says good morning, Seth.
So how's it going, Sebastian? How are you? Yeah, that was the stop run. worth reversing. They look like they still got some juice in them.
Gary Rich says good question. According to Eurodollar futures out to 2022, 23, 24 it's flat. All of 21 is zero Fed rates.
Yeah, 21. Hmm. Hmm. They gave me a little bit. Now they're pushing me on the other side. Stop run. Should ditch it. They may yet turn, and I'm just too early, but they're fighting it too much. I don't think I want to be in that kind of action. Oh, I want it so bad, though. They're way too far. This is way too far. Hmm. So once again, some absorption and consolidation here. Sellers coming in. I should probably reset this. Get a little better handle on what's going on. It does seem like sellers are coming in. Yeah, like that. How quickly they respond. Good. I think they could come back to 34 at the very least. Would be down here. Let's put that there. Fed's Bullard says, after a short-term unparalleled shock, the U.S. economy will boom again. On CNBC, St. Louis Fed President James Bullard said the economy will take a big short-term hit, but then snap back strongly. I think that they will snap back strongly. I think that it's just that snapback is going to happen a lot later than we might think. So there's a little bit of volume here around 42. They're finding some support. See if they can push down through it. That's at the point at which you really get price far enough below the volume that you can get stop runs and so forth. See, they are kind of coming. Okay. Sellers are trying to push the stops. I need to go crack my back. It's my rib cage is bothering me. That's what's going through my head. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's not bad. This came back up a little bit higher than I thought. Oh hey, sweet. Sweet. Now, it
Ace
gave me a
Trade
ding,
says
but it's
morning.
still positive. It gave me a ding, but so I don't think that I can continue it through there. They might go, but I think that what I got there was good. Good morning, Ace. How are you? That trade was great. But that was a different trade. That was not Ace's
Ace
setup.
Trade says short 2,435.75.
Okay. So you did take that one, huh? Yeah, when it was up here, I could see. Well, let me rephrase. Let me explain to you how I took it. I saw the absorption here, so I figured there will be a stop run and reversal. There was. They way overextended. When you come over and look at this chart, my the difference between my moving averages was like 1.2, which is pretty high. So I took it short on the expectation that they would come back to the green line.
Ace Trade says bad trade.
Yeah, I did so on the expectation they would come back to the green line. When it came back to the green line, I could see that this particular 10-minute period was still blue. So I decided to take my profit there. So it was not the setup, but it was still based on the same analysis, and it worked out pretty good. I think that if you had taken it right here, 37, well, you could have still gotten 2 points off of it. I don't know. Hold on, I gotta fix my back here, man. Oh, it's bad. So I think that I got enough out of that one. I could. I'm wondering, because Ace normally he could maybe just get his 2 points and then be done, right? I would think that I should try
Gary
and
Rich
set it
says
up
please
high.
understand. I'm not here to crush people. I just don't see how we get back to the highs and go higher.
No,
I'm global
yeah.
macro first. I look for opportunities to take not just one area only.
No, totally. No, I'm totally with you, Gary.
Ace Trade says correct.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, Ace, though, could we adjust it based on what the average true range is? So
Ace Trade says but I want a runner.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I want a runner too, but I made 10 points off of that one, right? Well, almost 10 points. Well, I had these wrong. I had these two. These were actually off plan. This one was your setup. These were kind of off plan. This one was off plan too, but it's still the same setup. It was just playing it the opposite way. I was playing it on that it was going to come back to the line rather than that it crossed the line. So that is the average true range that I got on my chart right now, at least. So should I say? So maybe I should just say that I met my goal. I don't know. Because I look back at it and I'm like, yeah, but there's going to be so many more opportunities, especially if it's working. Should be careful. I think we're going to be. I think I should be more cautious because we're coming up on the open. We're going to get a lot of volatility here. I'm going to be really tempted to trade into that volatility and lose it, and you could lose that very easily in that volatility. So I think I'm gonna sit on my hands at least until 7:45 and kind of take it from there where we're at right now. This hour is green. The sellers might come in really hard on the open. We'll see. I think that's how I should look at it. And maybe I should do a little bit of programming here. In fact, change the style. Give myself dotted lines around the highs and lows. I would prefer a dotted line rather than the solid lines that I have right now. Details of stimulus bill include an equity stake in airlines and a payroll tax cut for employers. Hell yes. Oh my gosh. That is such significant news. I can't believe that wasn't already reported. Like, that would have been one of the biggest selling points, was that the payroll tax cut. Oh man. It makes me nervous, honestly. Not nervous. What is the right word? I'm not quite sure what the right word is here to describe how I feel when I read about there's going to be an economic stimulus. But I sit down and I think, okay, like, I might have some money to invest. That must mean that everybody else will have money to invest too. So is that necessarily a good thing? Because am I really that ahead of the curve? I don't feel like I am. But I've been preparing. All of this is for this. Like, even the scalping, I don't necessarily expect to make tons of money off of scalping. I just I do it because, well, one of the primary reasons that I wanted to do it was so that I really understood the market. So that when that time came to buy, I would be ready. And now I feel like that time is coming, and it's like I don't believe it or something. It's like, you know what I mean? Am I just running into my own insecurities, or is there something more going on in this situation that I can't predict or understand? And okay, so that time we were getting, across of the line, but since we weren't really moving up in volume, you really can't take that one. Plus, it's way too close to the equity open. So I'm going to sit tight again. Oh, man.
Andre Santos says good morning.
Hey, Andre, how are you? Thanks for coming in. So have you guys seen this story? So, it's kind of been interesting that the Donald is a new website. So, like, my main forum that I look for to see how the right or the hardcore Donald Trump supporters are thinking, is kind of moved. So it's a little bit different of a website, and I guess there's a little bit of adjustment to that. But their big thing today is over this malaria drug. Like, they're really hopeful about the malaria drug. Apparently, the doctor in New York that was testing it said he tested it on like 300 people and it worked on all of them. That it worked amazingly well. And then there was a story in the media where somebody said, "Oh, that this chemical is in fishbowl cleaner," and so they drank fish cleaner. Oh my gosh. Okay, but it's kind of weird. And now Nevada has banned its use. That's so bizarre. The governor would think it important to prevent them from using this experimental drug. And I can't think of
Jerry
any
is awake
reason.
says crazy.
I can't think of any reason other than politics. But it's incredibly bizarre. The story to me and in general is incredibly bizarre. But the Donald Trump supporters are so incredibly triggered by it. They're so upset that the governor would do that. Is it going to be interesting to see how this turns out? If that drug ends up being as effective as they say, and I do think that there's probably some risks with it, but if it ends up being as effective as they say, that governor is gonna, and the media, that the people that were so skeptical about it are gonna really eat crow, right? So maybe that's why the Donald Trump supporters are all in on it, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Putin postpones April 22nd vote on constitutional changes that could see him stay in power until 2036. Cancels all non-essential work for the next week with salaries preserved. Don't think that this can't happen to you. Ugh. The vote itself was said to be too close to call. Interesting.
Gary Rich says it's the problem with Stupidly, a drug which helps and other find in fish tank stuff. Stupid retards which politicians try to prevent lol.
Right. Listen, there's I think there's a piece of wisdom. I don't remember where I got this from. It was I think it was on TikTok. You can't make things idiot proof. You can make them idiot resistant, but you don't want to make them idiot proof, because if you make them idiot proof, they'll just develop a better idiot. And I think that's what happened there.
Gary Rich says I know that drug we had to take it when drilling during Desert Storm.
Oh, really? So are there like really drastic risks associated with it? What is the big concern? Like, to me, it seems like it's a drug that they're using for other things. Like, why wouldn't you? And there's some evidence that it works. Why wouldn't you just try it? Like, and why would people be so opposed? It makes no sense at all. It's like low risk, high reward. Is there something about it that I don't know? Okay, here's the open. Boom. Oh, my DOM didn't reset. I don't have my thing set up correctly. I think I want it to be like that, so I'm gonna come in here and change it. CME indices. Okay. There we go. Okay, so initial move is very much down. Sellers are just coming out and just smashing it, man. Already a good 20 points down. Volume profile over here.
Gary
man.
Rich says it does have side effects, but they are small. It's not the cure for all, just some in certain situations with COVID. We need to try everything.
Right? I don't know. Maybe it really is just politics. Maybe it's just the media is mad because Donald Trump is holding it up as a potential cure when it might not actually be. But it looks like a low risk, high reward to me. Like, even from the perspective of Donald Trump, right? If it doesn't work out, people will just forget about it. But if he's right, he can just remind them forever and ever and ever that we had a cure and the media and Democrats fought it. How bad would that look? Right? Low risk, high reward. Okay, so the buyers are coming in here. I don't see an increase
Ace
in
Trade
cumulative
says tell that to the Fen folks.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing, is it's a well-known drug, so there's known side effects to it, but it can't. There must be something about it. There must be a side effect that is more severe than perhaps I realize. That would be the only thing that would make what's going on in relation to that make sense. Okay, interestingly enough, I'm actually seeing some more absorption in certain places. Higher numbers in the micro. Oh, you know what? It's not giving me the right instrument here.
Gary Rich says, well, we have to prevent people from getting taken advantage of. I don't get my medical advice from a blogger or YouTuber.
Well, yeah. But I mean, it's not. We're not talking about a blogger or a YouTuber or anything. I mean, I'm not even talking about the president. There was a trial. Like a guy tried it on 300 people, and it worked on almost all of them, according to him. According to the what I've read about it. The funny thing is, it's hard to even find information about it on Google. Did this one not reset correctly? Hold on a second. Now, that's interesting that it does that. CME indices. All right, well, I have it. We'll see what it does. Okay, now it's, yeah, okay. There we go. That's a little bit better. Yes, that's correct. All right. Bull's still trying to push him up. Well, this is exactly why I said I need to sit on my hands, right? I mean, they did come in really aggressively selling it, and then look, buyers pushed it up higher. And who knows, maybe the buyers exhaust and we go down another step.
Gary Rich says people are just dumb and stupid. Why do we have a label on a ladder? You may fall standing at the top. Duh. Regulations at times are silly.
You know what? One of my favorite TikTok memes. I haven't seen it in a while, but there's this one where they're like, "Come with me, and you'll be in a world of OSHA violations," and then it will show somebody doing something that is in a violation of an OSHA regulation. Usually, usually painters on stilts doing really dangerous stuff while they're building houses. They're always really funny to me. Oh, which reminds me, I found this really great TikTok um for it if when wind comes in that we gotta show her that for ferrets that she'll like. How high do you think this could get? Ooh, I don't know. I'm still a little concerned about this move. So like if we turn back around from this location around 2465, give or take 5 points. Then we turn back down to 2400. That could be ugly.
Gary Rich says, oh, the best one. May cause drowsiness. Do not operate machinery or drive a car. Do.
Yeah, I don't think that any coronavirus patients are going to be doing that. I'm just looking at my volume profile over here, and I'm like, this is not what I want. Composite chart. I want it in the margin. Okay. Show me a good volume profile in the margin. It's not for some reason. It is displaying it in the margin. Maybe I need to do it with the tick resolution. That'll probably take forever, but let's see what it does. Forex Live US stocks opened mixed. Okay.
Live Action says, Seth, I think your shadow band is lifted. Your live feed was highlighted today.
Was it? Was it really? I mean, we didn't have a whole ton of people. Well, we got 20 people right now, so it's average. Let's go look. Maybe they're just changing things. I bet you. I don't think I'm showing up. I don't think I'm going to show up. Yeah. Wait, I'm still not showing up in search. So maybe they changed something I'll show up on people's pages, but still not in search.
Kevin Wimmer says so we drop almost 30 points and just reverse it and go 60 points you in the first 7 minutes. Just lol. How can
Right?
anyone trade this?
You can't.
Gary
dude.
Rich says remember those jackass who ate Tide Pods, then Tide had to do a PSA. What
Right.
idots?
Right. Well, the thing that's so funny about it, though, is that the media is totally trying to use it to hurt Donald Trump. Just to hurt Donald Trump. And I'm sitting here like, okay, like, hold up. Let's just assume for a second that Seth hates Donald Trump. We all know that that's not true. But let's just assume for a second that Seth really hated Donald Trump and that he wanted to do everything in his power to get Donald Trump out of power or to hurt him or whatever. Okay? All right. Donald Trump thinks that there's a cure for coronavirus. Well, there are some trials out there. This guy, he tried it on 300 people and apparently it worked out pretty well. So there is some indication that it may help. Should I attack Donald Trump on this? How should I use this against Donald Trump? Well, if I attack him on it and then he ends up
Kevin
being
Wimmer
right,
says Trump hater and Hillary lover confirmed.
if he's right, then I look really bad, don't I? And there's already evidence that it works. No, I don't think that this would be a good battle to pick. See, the whole thing just doesn't make any sense. It's like, if I'm right, guess what? Like, everybody's gonna forget about it. If I'm wrong, he's gonna trash me till the end of time. Oh, there was a cure, and Seth tried to prevent the cure from getting out to the people. He doesn't have your best interests in mind. Like, the whole thing is just crazy. Wait, how did I get in? Oh yeah, the Tide Pods. All right, and then these two people drink it. Okay, well, I should blame it on Donald Trump? Let me think about that for a second. Well, I could probably get some good media clicks out of it. I don't think that anybody would call me out on it. So sure, maybe I could blame it on Donald Trump. There's definitely dumb people. But then what if it does end up being a real cure? I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. Okay, so new point of control up here at 2481.
Kevin Wimmer says so any fundamental reason we are killing the shorts right now?
I really don't think so. Well, I mean, they did pass the bill. So I think that people have to be positive, and the momentum is definitely on the side of the longs. I mean, like, really, this is just what I was saying before. It was like, do you really want to just come in and be outright short right now? I mean, that is a high risk, high reward. Well, maybe it's not a high risk. It kind of depends on where you put your stoppage point. Okay, but you're talking about something that you could make a ton of money if you're right, but the probability of you getting it is probably diminished because you're against the trend, right? Okay, what's going on here? Is my data feed just backed up? I think so. I think my data feed's just backed up because I'm trying to fix this chart right here. Trying to get a good volume profile on the right side, and it's just not working. So I changed it over to try and use take resolution data, and now it's taking forever to load. So that might be why the E-mini and the micros got off centered. Anyways, I just don't think that you want to sit and stand in front of it. Here wouldn't be a bad spot for a short. In fact, I'm just gonna put this one out here. No. Wrong way. I really don't want to just like hit into that with a stop order. Yeah. stop limit better. Okay. Okay. So I'm not happy with that yet. Okay, now it's better. Now it's better. Okay, good job. That one put a real smile on my face, guys. I think I could maybe hold that one a little bit.
Kevin
But-
Wimmer says I remember when 60 points during the whole day were considered a big trend day. And right now they just do
Right,
it during the open
right.
wall.
During the whole day. Well, it used to be that like 10 points in a whole day was an okay day, you know? Now 10 points is like a minute. A minute candle. The whole thing is just crazy. Yeah, this one I think was one that I could hold. I don't want to take it because I don't know. It's just a runner, but that's a short right there for sure. And they're gonna tinker around with it a little bit. I took it at 75, right? Yeah, I got 75. They might also come up and try and test it a little bit. So okay, that's not bad. It's pretty tense the way it's trading. I would like to see them push down a bit. It is. I mean, on this 10-minute bar, at least this one over here, it's red. This one over here, it's not. What's wrong with this one? One of these is broken. And this one, I'm trying to do it with tick resolution. Never gonna happen. Click OK and reload that one. Hopefully that fixes it. Why is this one red? Does that change it? Shouldn't. It should have started at 40. Yeah, 740. Why is that one red? This one is not. Oh, because this is an hour. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay, we're cool. It's all cool. The hour is green, but the 10-minute bar is red. So I could have gotten 50 off of that one if I really was patient. That was a good trade. I think 20. Maybe we should have held it, but you know. And how much did it go against us? Oh, it only went. Oh no, it went 10. It actually went 10 against us, so they really tried to stop us out. Ooh, look at him go now. That was a good pick, guys. Much more can this one go? I mean, this one you might want to hold it all the way back to the hour open now, like 2440. I don't know. Maybe not. That might be asking too much, but I think there's a really good chance that they hit it. I'm noticing that in cumulative deltas hasn't really completely turned. So if the sellers do win out here, oh my. So there's 2440. Oh man, I see a real nasty setup here. Sold my charade too early. See, they might base here and go higher, but if they fail and they go below 2440, then you've got a whole line of dominoes that could fall over.
Kevin Wimmer says, so are this moves caused by real human players or just robot versus robot action?
So it's going to be a combination of things, right? There's going to be humans that are, well, let me rephrase. A lot of the really big traders from the firms, they are humans controlling algorithms. They're saying, I want to sell this much of it, and they let the algorithm do it for them. This is where you'll get some things like in the treasuries when you see those machine guns or auto spreading algorithms, for instance. Those are usually controlled by people,
RJ Wheels says humans.
right? Overall, though, you're also going to look at something
Live Action
like,
says, Seth, I have a question. When buying a new computer, what component is important for speed trading?
oh, that's a good question in Live Action. Hold on, let me finish this question. So their algorithms are going to look at like the orders coming in from humans and adjust accordingly. So really the humans really do still determine where it goes in the long run, but you're going to see a lot of random action that is just robots trading it around, right? But I totally understand where you're saying it's like it moves too fast. It's getting better today. There's been some slow spots today, but they're still pretty turbulent right now. Okay, so for your computer, I've been making a video on this, and it was just like every time that I did it, it didn't turn out the way that I wanted. And maybe this weekend I'll end up making it, because I think I might have some opportunities here. But so if you're buying a new computer, which components would I spend the most money on? And for a trading computer, there's of course like minimum requirements, right? Like if you're gonna get it, you need a video card. You're gonna get a video card. It needs to have enough monitor outputs for what you want, right? So like for me, I have 3 displays. It needs to have at least 3 DisplayPort outputs. You know, if you want a 6 monitor setup, then you need something that can handle 6 monitors. Okay, so those sorts of things are like minimum requirements. But if I was going to like actually dump money into it, um, some of the things where you're gonna get a lot of benefit is number one, having a lot of RAM. Um, of course, the speed is important, but you really, the more stuff you're loading, the more RAM it's gonna take. So that's important. Um, and then having a fast hard drive makes a big difference, I have found, especially when you're like loading up NinjaTrader and it's loading all of the data that you have cached. Man, those new M.2 drives, you can get an M.2 drive with, that runs on, what do we call it? PCI Express and all of that stuff. Oh, they're so fast, and it makes a real difference in terms of how quickly things load. So a fast hard drive, and then your processor, especially if you're backtesting. If you're backtesting, man, that processor really matters. And on the processor, right now, AMD has those, I think it's a Core i5 3600. They're like $300 or something. But you really get a sweet spot in terms of performance versus cost. So that 3600 in particular from AMD really makes a difference. And you want to get an AMD processor because trading applications are multi-threaded and can take advantage of the extra cores. So that's what I would recommend in a computer. Yeah. We'll make a video about it because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people looking into that. So now is really the time to get it out. So hopefully I'll have a video out about that on Monday. Okay, so here they're getting into the 2440 area. And maybe, so let's see if they're able to extend below this now. So now I'm looking, if they get below 2420, I want to see how much volume is trading. Okay, so they went from 40 to 30 really easily. So that is quite, what is the word? It's encouraging to the shorts for sure. Can't believe we are just reversing a 66-point up move this fast. Oh, sorry, these aren't reading.
Kevin Wimmer says I can't just believe we are reversing a 66-point up move this fast. Just fascinated by the Amini and staying out of the Amini. Live Action says thanks, yes, good idea for a video, probably get a lot of hits.
Yeah, I hope so. Okay, so there was a little bit of a pullback there. Fed's bullard tariff relief not likely that helpful in current environment given expected drop in production. Fed willing to do more, but Fed focus now is on execution. Programs that need to be in place are likely in place, not ruling anything out in terms of further Fed steps. Okay. So he's saying maybe they need more money, but right now they're just focusing on doing the things that they've already put out there well, which is smart. Okay, 24.25. So 24.20 is going to be, because that was the low of the regular session. Just show it here on, yeah. So down below 24.20, then you're going to have a lot of people off sides. Okay, there is some significant absorption there in the micros at 24.2350. Sometimes that can cause a reversal, but lately they've been running through those. So we'll see. They go for it.
Live Action says at Gary Rich, just a thought, finding a low didn't have anything to do with inverse correlations, did it?
Okay, so they're reversing a bit. They might hold it. So they may be coming back to 24.40. Oh.
Gary Rich says it live on what instrument?
Very whippy here. I mean, that was like 10 points up and 10 points down very quickly. I need to change something about this chart over here. Because this data series, this 10-minute data series, should not auto scale. There we go. All right. Those sellers, they know. They know. Oh, man.
Live Action says it Gary Rich Aussie.
Okay. So there is the break. There is, looks like a little bit of absorption here. There's a little bit of absorption before the break, but now a little bit after it too. I don't know. When we saw this on the upside, they went through him, right? And there was a stop run. And then they exhausted. If they do that same thing on the downside, it's not going to be the same story because there's going to be way more people. Like on that one, it was like, hey, there was a lot of people winning. And overall, they had to take some profits. And then once they took some profits, then a bunch of people get stopped out that did the market making on that. And then you exhaust. This one on the downside, on the other hand, you're going to have everybody that bought from yesterday, right? Thinking, oh no. That said, I want to see acceleration between 20 and 2400, and I'm not. It's slowed down a little bit. In fact, well, okay. There was some stops. Yeah, I don't think it's a true head and shoulders.
Gary Rich says the correlations. The Aussie was China TWI trade weighted index, dollar index, and the relationships between them.
Let's see if they break.
Gary Rich says I'm not sure if RBA will go to zero rates, they may just hold it here. If they signal a rise in rates, I'll go long immediately.
Okay. So we're kind of in a
Bots says
spot.
32 gigabytes RAM, M.2 SSD, Intel i9 or greater than 3600 AMD, video card, PNY NVIDIA Quadro P1000 professional graphics board,
You got a
VCQ
Quadro?
P1000PB.
Oh, that's right. You have a Quadro, huh? You told me that. Okay. Oh, I just missed my chance. I need to go do some research. What are the video cards currently available that have 6 out DisplayPort outputs? Too late, I think.
Live Action says I can't believe how I messed this trade up. I am disgusted. Had 3 lot long S2411 before open and added was what I thought comfortably green. Now I am in the red. What a messed up trade.
No, that doesn't seem right.
Bots says I have 2 Quadros, 6 monitors.
Yeah, I don't know what video cards are out there that would actually have 6 outputs on them. Good job. Good job, Seth. Oh, why didn't it give me that sound? Oh. For some reason,
Bots
my
says
Switch
2 of them
was
allow me to run 8 monitors. Gary Rich says I feel Aussie and USD, CAD, short, have a real estate issue. It has to crack at some point.
I really could have rode that more, but look, they came back up to 10, so that was a good call. I'm not seeing, I don't know. There has been some acceleration for sure, but there's been a lot of absorption down here too. So I still see it as kind of an uncertain but dangerous situation if they break 2400. Well, that looks like
Gary
there's
Rich says Bots is running his own prop firm.
Well, you should see his monitor setup. I'd have to
Bots
like
says lol.
scroll. I'd have to scroll way back in our history to show you the picture that he showed me. But he built like a desk out of wood, and he's got. They're not all. I mean, they're not all like nice. Um, they're not all the same type of monitor or anything, and they're 24-inch monitors, and they're all on like their own individual stands. And he's got them like 2-tiered. So it's a pretty crazy setup. It really looks like something that he acquired over a great deal of time. Compared to my 3 monitors. You know what? I got to the point here where I'm like, okay, I got the 3. I could maybe add a 4th. And I could make use
Bots
of
says
6.
I built the monitor stands out of wood, not the desk.
Oh, right. Okay. That's a little bit, not attached to the desk, right? 2420, huh? I don't know, man. I looking at the order flow, I'm not seeing what I wanted to see. I'm not seeing what I wanted to see. I can't call it a true Head and Shoulders. That doesn't mean that
Gary
they
Rich
won't break
says at
it.
live
But
work in a standard deviation indicator for these moves. Not Bollinger Bands. That formula is not accurate.
what's wrong with that formula? Isn't it based on a standard deviation? Or there's another one though, it isn't there, that's based on a standard deviation. Because somebody was talking about it in chat the other day.
Bots says and they are all matched monitors, Acer 24 inches
Acer
LEDs.
24s? What? So why don't you go and get one of them 6 monitor stands? They're all well. Do they all have VESA mounts on the back of them? I mean, I guess yeah, you have something that works, then it doesn't really matter. But I've found that having the stand
Bot says they
makes them
don't
so
have
much
Visa
nicer.
mounts.
They don't have VESA mounts. Okay, yeah, that'll not help then. And what kind are you connecting them with HDMI? See, I'm wondering if it's something with 6 outputs.
Gary Rich says the bands are too much of a lag.
Oh.
Bot says hence the homemade monitor stands.
Yeah, I get you. How do I DisplayPort 6X? Oh, there's only 25 on new.
Kevin Wimmer says so the stimulus package didn't pass so far, right?
No,
They are
passed.
gonna vote later today?
Well,
and do we know what is going to be inside?
Yeah, let me rephrase it. It has not passed. You're right. It hasn't been passed, but a deal has been made, so it's pretty much guaranteed that it's going to go through. In fact, the House is saying that they're going to just pass it through unanimous consent. There's questions on whether or not they'll do that. If somebody objects, so they'll say unanimous consent, and then if anybody objects, then they can do a voice vote. So it's just everybody says yay or nay. So they're going to try and do that. They don't want to be there very long because they're all worried about catching coronavirus. So it's going to pass. What's in it? Again, we found out earlier this morning that there is a payroll tax cut in it.
Bot says where did Alligator go in Discord? Haven't seen him in a while.
Didn't he go on vacation this week again? I'm not so sure. Haven't seen him this week though. You're right. He was here last week. Oh, in fact, somebody was asking. See, last I saw him, 16th. Oh, maybe somebody just posted it. Oh, Luke says, I know he went into Alligator, but he doesn't have internet. Oh, I hope he's okay, guys. That was a while ago. I don't really know. He didn't really say anything, apparently. If you know. Okay, here they're approaching the bottom again. See, I can't call it.
Live Action says at Gary Rich I think I remember Mr. Bollinger say himself it doesn't work but I did know a GS trader who used it but he was also one of the best tape readers.
Yeah. Sweet. They're almost certainly going to hit into that 2400 now. Darn. Okay. I'm still being way risk adverse. Like I could totally just let that run, right? Okay. But like we're like being really tepid around it. It's again like when you break a Head and Shoulders, there should be acceleration. It is slowed down as it has approached that 2400. It was a pretty fast fall at the top. It's slowing down here. That doesn't mean that they're not going to break it and it can't fall. It just, I don't think that this trade setup is guaranteed there at that. It's like if there's acceleration and they hit into that 2400, take that. But as it is right now, I can't say. So it's interesting that the ones with 6 outputs are all AMD. So let's come back here to desktop graphics cards. And I think that we should get either a GeForce 10 or 11 series. Or a 10 series or a 20 series. Okay. Okay. And then the most that you can get is 3 display ports on those cards. So that's good information. Okay. Well, they extended through the 2400. This is ugly now. This is where my chart starts to say ugly. Like, now there's still 87 below us. But from that, we have to do a extension, right? Extension from here to here. That takes us a step back, all the way back to 2280, potentially. Jeez.
Gary Rich says it live. Yes. Many don't know what tape reading is or the old school stuff. Maybe we were lucky not to have all this great technology before. It's great now. Bot says that P1000 Quadro is only $345 plus or minus to power 4 monitors. One card can drive up to 5K, 5120 by 2880 at 60 Hz.
Yeah. Well, so it's kind of comes into how many you want, because if you want DisplayPort ones, and that's where you can get the really high resolutions and the really high refresh rates with DisplayPorts, and most new monitors are DisplayPort. I do see, well, with the series of graphics cards that I would recommend, like right now, I think that a 1660 is a great card. I wonder, does the 1660 fit in there? Let's see here.
Bot says it comes with mini DP.
Let's do the GeForce 16X series. Apply. 1660, and then when I come in here to see DisplayPort, yeah, they have DisplayPort 3X. So here right now, probably the card that I would recommend, GeForce GTX 1660 Ti, 6 GB. I'm seeing as low as 265. That will give you 3 outputs for DisplayPort, 3 DisplayPort outputs, and 1 HDMI. So you can power 4 monitors on it, just not all DisplayPort. If you wanted 6 DisplayPort monitors, you would have to go with an AMD card or some form of a Quadro, I'm sure. I think that we've taken enough trades today. I played it really safe. I was keeping my AMA down to 10.
Live Action says it. Gary Rich, thanks for sharing. I use correlated and inverse markets and try to find best in breed by their strength. You doing your homework, I would guess, gets you closer to 100% than me. Smiling face with smiling eyes.
You try to find best in breed by their strength. So is that to mean that you look at, in the most recent market action, if we moved up, which one moved up the most? Because that's what I tend to do, but I also very much like to see, like, if it's a stock price earnings growth ratios and stuff. One of the problems with some of these video cards. So John, you have 2 Quadros. Does each Quadro only take up 1 PCI Express slot in the back? By that I mean, when you look at this thing, see this one is 2 slots? Are yours only 1 slot? Or are they both 2 slots?
Bots says yes, they're single slot cards.
Yeah, okay, makes sense. Interesting. That's not graphics cards. Let me show you what I was looking at earlier. 6.
Bots says they run cooler than the double slot cards.
So, oh yeah, I'm sure. Well, I don't know. It depends on the card, right? But you're right. A lot of those double slot cards are double slot because they're compact, which is to mean, like, see, these cards are really long and they've got 3 fans on them. And then you'll get these ones that are like half as much, like these little bricks like that. And those ones are almost always 2 slots because they need enough airflow to get into them. So here is all of the monitors on Newegg that are listed as having 6 outputs. And you can see they're all Asus. Or sorry, they're all AMD cards. No Nvidia cards. I would really recommend an Nvidia card. But that's where it's like, you just got to know how many monitors you really want. I really I really feel that anything more than 3 monitors is a luxury and not a necessity. So, especially if you're getting big monitors like 27-inch monitors. So, I have 3 27-inch monitors. If I wasn't streaming, I really don't think that I would have a need for more. Because I'm streaming, I kind of would like to see another monitor, but I don't think it would make sense because you can't cover up the lights and stuff, so having 6 monitors set up to stream with doesn't. We'd have to have like a 6 monitor set up behind me. See, like this thing right here? Long-term plans when we're rich. That big hutch right there, gotta go. Gotta go. And we'll put like a huge monitor setup there. Something really cool. You know what I mean? Be awesome. No, probably not. I don't think that I would ever spend that much money on it. I'd have to have a lot. I would have to have a lot of money coming in through this stream and reason to believe that buying that many monitors would significantly increase revenue from streaming to justify an expenditure like that. I see some of these guys with these crazy setups on their YouTube channels, and I look at that and I'm like, you're not making money from the trading. How are we doing on requests, by the way? Yeah, we're good. Okay, so I took a number of trades today. I do feel a little bit like I took a lot of trades. I mean, there's 7 there, right? So that is a lot, but we got over 100.
Fallow says monitors are cheaper than monitor stands these days.
Oh yeah. Well, monitor stand uh is about $100 unless you're getting like those really massive ones. Uh Man, you're like taking me off subject, but I want to talk about it. I like you gave me a thought. I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna be ADHD. I'm gonna go with it. We don't need to trade. We made $100. It's cool. I'm happy about it. Maybe next time we can try and do it with less trades, so that we pay less in commissions. Okay. Anyways, yeah. So let's come out and talk about monitor stands. Okay. So if we go to Amazon.com.
Gary Rich says just go big 40-50 feet TVs as screens, so cheap.
Okay. And then Newegg. Okay. Triple monitor stand. So you're going to come in here to Newegg. There's, of course, these ones that don't articulate. I mean, that'll work for you. But really, you want something like this. Oh, they do have this one. So this is the one that I have right here. The mounted triple monitor mount. 134. It's actually cheaper. It's actually cheaper on Amazon, I think. Oh, no, they've just increased the price of it. Yeah, that's funny. Okay, but here, you see here's some triple ones that without the articulation.
Live Action says Seth, yes, in day trading it's important for me to evaluate the correlated to see who is doing what now. Intraday they will move in unison but react differently to volume profile.
Okay.
Live Action says IES may turn on VPOCYM may turn on high volume node near VPOCNQ low volume node,
okay.
etc.
Yeah, we're talking about something a little bit different then. Okay, so anyways, so there's some cheap ones, but then when you start scrolling down here, okay, like so for instance this one, Ergotron LX triple dual display lift stand, $305. Okay, Ergotrons are expensive. You're gonna get, okay, so here's one right here, Suntron triple monitor mount. So this is like literally the exact same thing as what I have. Just looks a little different. It's all silver. Okay. It's almost twice as much. You're not getting your money on that. So be careful with that. You're going to get it. You should be spending around $130 unless you're getting 6 monitor stand. If you want a 6 monitor stand and you want articulating mounts, if we can even find one, like the gas spring arms, that's what they call it. Oh man, it's really expensive. It's like $300 or $400. Not even showing one there. There was a 6. Dual. So another thing is here when you're buying like single arms. This is the thing that irks me is if I want a single monitor arm. Or actually, what I really want is oh no, I just want a single monitor arm. Monitor arm. Let's see if things have changed since I last looked. Shall we? Not monitors. Monitor stand. Condition price, useful links, type, bracket, card holder, keyboard tray. Nah, I don't care about any of that. I just want a single monitor arm mount stand for LCD screen 17 to 27 inches. Okay, so there's one that's like $40. There's one for 70. Yeah, that one might be worth trying. That one's got a weird arm. It's like all thick. Then there's these sorts of. So here's the Amazon choice. The Amazon Basics one is more expensive. Yeah. Okay, here's one that's 34. So I'm thinking of getting 2 of these. Because right now I have a triple monitor stand, and my studio monitors are behind the triple monitor stand, so I have to move them aside. And what I would like to do is just get new arms so that I can fit my speakers in between them and push the speakers back and close things back up if I want. So it'll be a lot easier on me. ADHD kicking in there. Yeah, well, I think I have a tendency to like just want to go along with the last thing that people said in chat. I don't think that's so much the ADHD as it is a habit now. Anyways, so we looked at that. And now I want to go and I want to change something in my my things. You're fine, Fallow. It was a good question. Or it was a good comment. You guys probably didn't care about all that, but maybe it will be useful to somebody. It will also be in the video, so it's good to refresh myself on it. Chart style, multi-period candles. Make it really big for you guys. So I think there's a property down in here that I'm going to copy. Down bar, outline brush, out brush, doji brush, opacity, outline, wicket dash style. This is it, the one that we want right here. That one is the high-low. Yeah, it's right here. And high-low style. And then outline style. Outline style. Did you update to version 21? Are you going to add opacity control to the outline in that? That's a good question, John. Would you like it? Because right now it just draws a line. It doesn't actually draw a color box at all. And what I want is I want this line up here to just be dotted. And I guess since I'm at it, I'm going to make it so that you can make this box out here dotted as well. So that's all I'm adding right now. But we could make it so that you could color this other part differently as well. I don't know if it would really help because it'll always be colored, but probably somebody wants it, so we might as well. But that requires a little bit of a different change, so we'll do this part first. Now referring to your option. Oh no, you already have you can already control the opacity of the main box. Here, sorry, let me add the auto read on. Okay. Hmm.
Bot says I meant the candle wick and outline opacity, not the body of the candle.
Okay. We could add that as well. And there is be a lot of options here. At some point we're probably going to have to organize it a little bit better, huh? For now though, it's more like get it working for me the way that I want it to look first, and then we start taking requests. But if you want that, then you count as making it work for us. So I'll change it after we get this one. Now I'm got to find on the wick, low wick, draw line. Where is it? Style wick. I just want to find everywhere that we're talking about that. Okay. Okay. So that's where it's created. Okay, so I think, okay, so we need to create a dash style equals dash style wick. Is that the name of the property? Dash style wick, high-low style, okay. High-low style. Let's do, I'll call this one high-low style wick with lowercase h. And then I think that's all for there. And then here where I draw this rectangle, I will do stroke dot high.
Gary Rich says it live. Is that site link good?
Oh, wait, there's something else. Style wick. We do something else with it somewhere.
Gary Rich says man these market makers are so stingy on the bid, ask.
Oh. So I think it's that. And same with...
Live Action says it Gary Rich?
Oh, wrong. So this one right here. High, low, style, wick. Oh, wait. Just call it high, low, style.
Gary Rich says it live the books one.
Hello, style. High, low, style. Compile. Of course. No. SS. Oh. Control C. Okay. Well, it's like looking all over it. It was like right there. Okay. All the little mistakes I made.
Gary Rich says I'm trying to sell I week out prem, and I have jock them. Getting partial fills or become the ask. Just chumming me around.
Yeah, right? Well, it's I mean, I do it on Sim, but all of the time it's so weird. You would think that in a market that is moving 10 points at a time that it would be easy to get filled, and yet so often they will toy with me. It's so weird. And I don't know how they're doing it. That's the thing that I think is crazy is like how do I end up being one tick off so often? Makes no sense. I never heard it make the sound, so I'm gonna compile it again just to be sure. There it is. Okay, so now if I come in here into data series and I look at my 10-minute chart, I should get, oh yes I do. They're all solid. Okay. So I need to make another modification down in here. High, low dash style. Dash style of box drawn around high and low. Now, so there's that one. And then there's the high-low style. Oh, that's right. That's dash style wick, and outline dash style. We haven't done that one. Okay. So now the thing that I'm worried about is I don't think I've been setting, oh, okay, well, it says it's solid. So if I change the high-low to a dot, it disappears. What? Dash? Okay, dash is fine, but why doesn't it do dots? I'm so confused. Why doesn't it like dotted?
Winston's mom says good morning, speculator Seth, how goes today?
Hey,
And good
there
morning
you
to all
are.
25 watching, who I will now ask to please hit like.
Hey, Win, I found something for you. I want you to watch. Let's just do that for now. I mean, that's maybe a little bit too thick, but hey, that's what I wanted. I don't know why won't it do dots. Doesn't like the dotted wicks. That's so weird. We're gonna have to figure that one out. Because you can do it on the boxes, so I know it can be done. Okay. Where did I put it? Oh, here it is. So there's this popular TikToker who his stick is he's God, and God and Gabriel are working together creating all of the different animals. And they had one that was really popular, and he's just kept going with it with all these different animals. So here's God creating ferrets.
For this one, Gabriel, let's start with the base of a raccoon. That is simple enough. Let's do that. Okay, next. All right, now let's make it look and smell like an old tube sock. What? Stop. No, what? Also, let's take away its skeleton and move.
Mom says
And its concept
this is
of
wonderful.
danger.
How funny.
No one is going to want
Winston's
this.
mom says you found something
For this
me.
one, Gabriel,
Thank you, and
let's
I
start.
didn't bring anything for you. Lol.
Wait, I should have muted the thing. Wait, I will play it again so you hear it played.
Of a raccoon. That is simple enough. Let's do that. Okay, next. All right, now let's make it look and smell like an old tube sock. What? Stop. No, what? Also, let's take away its skeleton and move. And its concept of danger. No one is
This is
going
the best
to
part
want
right
this.
No one's gonna want this. No one's gonna want this. And yet they do. Anyway, when I saw that one, I thought it was probably one of the funniest ones of that they've done too. Take away its concept of danger and make it smell. Yeah. You do kind of have to wonder what they were thinking when they made ferrets. Oh, what did he say? What did Gary say?
Winston's mom says ferrets. This is wonderful. How funny. Gary Rich says at MOM, you are our dancing queen. Great song.
I totally, I saw that, I'm like, oh, I have to show this to Win, and we've been sitting here all morning waiting for you to come so we can show you that TikTok. Why does it not like my dash style? Okay, so here in the properties, oh, look at them bonds sticking up. What is with that? I didn't even pay attention. I didn't even notice that bonds were pushing up again. I just remember when we were down here and we thought maybe they were going to go and fall down, and look, they've bought up. That would have been a way better trade than the E-mini. Well, I guess they did kind of turn after the E-mini went. Well, maybe somebody was buying them in anticipation of selling the E-mini. But here again, the Head and Shoulders pattern did not play out the way that I thought it should. And what do you know? They bounced off of 2400. So, next time somebody tells you that Head and Shoulders don't work, tell them because you're not actually trading a Head and Shoulders.
Winston's mom says the base of a raccoon look and smell like an old tube sock.
Oh my gosh. See, here's Wick Dash style. But up in here, when I'm drawing the main thing, here's where I'm just making things. Here, when I draw the rectangle, overridden outline brush, outbrush DX, stroke, dot stroke style. And I think, oh, where does stroke come from? Control C, Control F, stroke. Okay, but see here, on a down bar outline, I can make it a dot, right? So why can't I do that for the other one? It's very weird. Let me change the outline width back to 1. So there you go. See, I don't think that I want the down bar outline to be dots. That I would always want those to be solid. But then I created this high-low dash style, solid dash dot custom. It's not. Oh wait, now it's doing it as a dot. Oh. Oh, did you see that? Dash dot. Oh, maybe not. Oh, that's so weird, guys. Wait. I guess not. So something about the way that I'm instantiating this is wrong, for sure. Okay. So let's keep it like that for a second. Try and figure out in the code where we're screwing up. Are these different types, maybe? So when I come back up here, where's stroke? Get paint width. Get our paint width. Width equals stroke dot width. Stroke dot stroke style. What is stroke? Chart style dot stroke. Okay. So they are wrong. Chart style dot stroke. Does it take it? But it claims that it is. That's interesting. All right. This looks like a job for a visual studio. Oh, you guys are probably saying things because we ran out of stuff. Are ferrets just a very long rats with soft fur? I think it's a little bit more than that. Mine smells like grape Kool-Aid. What the heck? Wrongly accused. Oh, I didn't know. I was reading that and you just deleted it. The male ferret is rather oily and smelly. When he begins to court his female, the oil literally runs off of them, according to Pam, who breeds Agora ferrets. What? That sounds kind of gross, to be honest. Okay, so indicators. No, not indicators. Chart styles. Chart style. Multi-braid candle. Stroke. Go to definition. Does Visual Studio not know? Oh, it's trying to find it. It's trying to find it. Aha. It is from chart style. Public static chart style creating instance, blah 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 blah. But what is it? It's a stroke. Stroke, chart style, dot stroke. So if I come back down in here and I say that it's just a stroke, what does that give me? Cannot implicitly convert type Ninja Trader GUI stroke into That's good. Does that mean I don't even need this stuff? Let's see. Let's see what happens. Hello style. That stroke style. Style. I don't think it's going to work. Oh, yeah, don't need that I think that I need to instantiate it somewhere and I'm not seeing the code where that would happen. It's somewhere in chart, probably somewhere in chart style. Well, it compiled. I'm shocked, actually. Data series. Unhandled exception. Oh. Oh. That's bad. That's bad. It's letting me do it on another chart. And here's a high-low dash style. Will it work? No, not at all. Okay, so this one is not working because I changed that data series, but it's still like broken. Like I broke it really bad. Like I broke it really bad. Minks are supposedly meaner than ferrets. Ew. Ferrets aren't too mean, right? I mean, I'm assuming that they would generally be pretty okay unless you were. Anyways, I digress. Got myself a real predicament here. Because I can't get into the data series. I'm going to have to recreate the chart, guys. Oh! But it doesn't work anyways. I just ruined it. But what did I ruin? Why does it not work? Why did it not draw anything? Okay, well, that's okay. We're going to close that because it's broken and we have to fix it one way or another. But we will make a different chart that is a little bit simpler just for making things easier. We'll make 1 minute bars and then we'll add 10-minute overlays with multi-period candles on here. Box high-low. Okay. The template you're trying to load has one data series saved, but you have two data series configured in your current chart. Please configure your chart to use one data series before loading this template. What the hell? Load template only? Why would it do that? New chart. Oh, fine. Okay. Okay. Indicator, or no. Now my brain's starting to go. 9 o'clock. That whole sequence of things just kind of fried my brain, I think. Okay. Multi-period candles. Box high-low. Okay. So, nothing paints. Nothing paints at all. Data series. Get rid of that. It shows. Interesting. Okay. So that's good. That means that we didn't permanently break it. But when we come down into here, If box high low. And box with outline. High low style dot stroke style. Oh, you know what? Since okay, that gives us a clue, I think. So back in here, where was it? Hmm. Let's see what that does. Hmm. Curious. Wait, what was it? Doing it? Calling it? Outline? Ace, I'm back. How did you do? Yes, let me show you, Ace. I did good. So not all of those were necessarily the indicator, but I think this one was. Let me go back. When was it? So I played that one. There was that one that we were telling you about where I took it at 24:45. Where was that? Oh, that was way back before that, I think. No, it was. Was it before the open? Yes, it was. So there was that one before the open. But then they moved up, and when we were up at the top, I saw the indicator, and I took that one. So I took that one. I didn't hold it. I just let it go through. And then I had this other one down here at 24:10. That was a similar situation. And then there was this one that was an order flow trade that was just expectation of them hitting a new low. I could hear you talk about that, but I had to get back to the room, so I couldn't hear you. Oh yeah, no, it's okay. Yeah, the one up at the top was really good, wasn't it? I was like, I don't know if I can just like outright short it, but I really could have held that. I could have held that one all the way to 2,400 and made almost uh 75 points. Like, what? But I didn't. But I didn't. But I didn't want to. I was telling myself this one was an off-plan trade, but these ones I was saying I want to get 2 to 4 points. So 2 to 4 points, maybe 5 points because the average true range is like 5 to 7. But that's what I'm kind of using the average true range to define how much I want to go for. It worked really well. But the thing that I'm impressed with the most was that my win rate ended up being really great. I don't like that I ended up taking 7 trades, but the win rate was good. And the MAE wasn't bad. I mean, these are still going 10 points against me, which I don't like, because we want to get that down as low as possible. But in this environment, I kind of feel like it's inevitable. And that's why we were taking 20 on these, because it's going 10 against us, then we gotta. If it's going 8 against us, then we gotta get twice that on the other side. Can't cry over money. We didn't make good target management, and good job. Now we want to see the baby. I can go check. I can go text her. Well, let's text her. Okay. Yeah. While I'm waiting for her, we gotta come back here and look at this. Make it. That should be like that. Okay. So I don't know why that's like that, but I think here, high, low, style equals new stroke dot. I don't know what that will do. It might not fix it. Might have to like remove it and re-add it or something. But that name should change at least. High-low outline. Yeah, so it is there. Let's just try removing it and adding it back on. Aha! High-low outline. I will try, well, the color shouldn't matter, but I'll try a dot and turn it on. We need 10-minute value. She's not responding. That means she's sleeping. Hell yes. Hell yes. So we fix it. So I need to have a little bit of cleanup to do on the what is it? Shift. There we go. So I have a little bit of cleanup to do in the properties themselves. But I think they were just going to have to add all the things. Add all the things. But then that will allow us to change the outline of the candle as well, separately for up and down. So that's a little bit more control than we had as before as well. And I'm going to have to go and remake that chart that I had. That's unfortunate. But I should probably fix all these properties before I do that. Okay, let me go. I'll be back. did we just get reconnected? Okay. Well, look, I got him. So I hope you're happy, Ace. Yeah, he's getting a little bigger. Do you see him smiling there? Why does he look like Gary? Wait. Oh, man. He's dead asleep. So I think we're going to let him sleep. Yeah, he does have a lot of hair. He was smiling there for you guys for a second. I hope that it caught it or you got a good view of it. Like, it's really hard to hold him up in a way that the camera can really see. So maybe one of these days I'll have my wife hold him and I move the camera onto him. Do you hit diaper duty often? Maybe once a day. Okay, well, you know what? The market, they tested that 2400 level. I think that they bounced off of it pretty good. I'd say that is really positive. I think today we should just see some good consolidation. I'm really happy about it. And I traded it really well, so I think that's a good time. Wake him up. In China, kids at that age are already solving nuclear problems. No. Anyways, and I now don't want to wake him up, so I think that's a good place to end it. They don't let you hold them. Well, I hold them a lot. We watch Africa StarCraft League together. This is what we've been doing in the evening. Yep. All right. Oh, he's like, stop talking. I'll see you guys tomorrow. In the meantime, stay profitable, friends.